Intro. Hi, this is Superintendent of Schools Bill Olsen, and welcome to another program of Education Matters, where we talk about the people and the programs in our school system. We have two wonderful guests today, Wendy Pechacek. Wendy is the grades 6 through 12 guidance director in our school system, and we're also joined by senior Natalie Bishop. And Natalie, I know that you're in a tight time frame and you have lots of activities because you're a senior at Westford Academy this year and have to leave us a little bit early, but appreciate you being on the program.
Thanks for having me.
And today we're going to talk about the internship program, the senior internship program at Westford Academy. And Wendy, just briefly, how many students do you have involved this year in the internship program?
This year we have over 290 seniors participating in the senior internship program of the 410 that will be graduating, so it's a very large
The
number.
program has really grown over the last 5 years, and I have to credit you and others in the school system, and particularly Westford Academy, for growing and developing what is an excellent program. And
Thank you.
Natalie, I know you have to leave us a little bit early, but tell us a little bit about your internship. In fact, I think you're interning here at the Cable Access TV studio. Tell us about it.
I'm interning at Westford CAT, and I love it. I've learned a ton of different skills needed for television, and even not only off camera but also on camera. I've done a few interviews with Lauren, who works at Westford CAT. So in the first week, Anya, who works at Westford CAT, went through with the light board and the sound board and the main control panel, and we learned how to work all that, not to the fine detail, but in a lot of different ways, and it was really, really interesting. I've never done anything like that before. And we are working on a bunch of different projects right now. I'm currently working on, we went to the Abbott School for the Immigration Day that the younger kids had.
That's right, I remember seeing you filming it there.
Yep. And we filmed that, and I've been currently working on it with David McInerney, editing it and we just finished the previews and the credits today for it, so it's really exciting. I can't wait till it's done.
Terrific. Now, is this the first exposure you've had to cable access TV?
Well, I actually did I was on your show last year.
Right.
Yep. So that was my first experience. And then I've been in Mr. Ang's movie making classes for the past 2 years, and that's what really has motivated me to kind of pursue the movie making type activities.
Is this something that you think you might like to pursue as a career?
Possibly. I really, really love it, and I think everything I learn is really interesting. So, possibly.
Would you be, Natalie, more interested in film production or newsroom, the dynamics of a very active newsroom, whether it be in Boston or some other major market in the country?
I'm not really sure. That's why I've practiced being on screen and off screen, doing the interviews, but also doing the control panel, so I can get a feel of the different types of styles that I could do. So, trying to figure it out.
What do you seem to enjoy the most, either on screen or behind the scenes?
I don't know.
Okay. Are there any particular programs that you've done here that you found particularly interesting?
Can you explain a little more?
Well, some of the, in your behind-the-scenes work, have there been any really challenging programs that you've had to work on?
The immigration one that we've been working on has been definitely difficult, but it's been fun. We spent all day, or half of the day today, and then all day Monday and Tuesday editing it, and then the Thursday and Friday before vacation. And it was on 3 different cameras, and probably maybe around 4 hours of footage on each camera. So we had to go through and find each clips, what works with what, and then get it and then work with the audio. So it was really challenging and something I've never really done before with so many different types of cameras, but it was really cool.
I think it probably gives you a little bit of insight also into how fast-paced
Yeah.
news broadcasts are in this day and age, where you have sound bites and scenes coming up immediately, and sometimes extemporaneously, and people have to react very quickly. And so I think the skills that you're developing here are going to serve you very well in life.
Yeah.
Now, I know that this is a great time of year for you and all of your other seniors at Westford Academy, and lots of activities. You've got a trip coming up and the prom, and but let's look forward a little bit to college. Tell me where you have been accepted and have decided upon.
I applied to 9 schools and was lucky to get accepted to 5 of them. Some of them are Hobart and William Smith, UVM, Ithaca, Syracuse, Gettysburg, and Penn State. And then I just signed my papers yesterday morning, and I decided to go to Hobart and William Smith colleges.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm really excited.
And I know that it's probably a little bit early for you to have a complete understanding of what you might want to major in, but is there any area in particular that you think might be of interest to you?
Possibly some type of film studies, but other than that, I'm not really sure.
Is film studies one of the items that allowed you to select that particular college?
I looked at a lot of different types of things, and I was looking at college, but they do have a good arts program at the school, so it did help.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I know, I remember you on the program last year, and you have been a student who has been very much involved, not only at Westford Academy, but in the entire Westford community. And I know you have to dash, because you've got a lot more going on this afternoon and this evening. So first and foremost, I want to thank you very much for being on the program. And it's been a pleasure, Nellie, and I want to wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you at graduation. But the best of luck at college next year. And stay in touch with us. We always like to know what our graduates are doing from the freshman year on through to their first job and beyond. So please do stay in touch with us.
Natalie. Good to see
you.
Thank you. We're going to have Wendy join us now and talk about a little bit more about the specifics of the internship program. We said that you have over 200 students.
Almost 300 students,
Almost 300.
so almost 75% of the class, which is wonderful. And there are actually 4 students that are here at the cable access station this year, and working in lots of different areas. But we have students all over the surrounding community, and they're having a great experience. And it's so much fun to hear them talking about what they're learning in such a different environment than where they've been the last 12 years, and getting excited about the next step after this. So,
well, I can remember, Wendy, some years ago, maybe 10 years ago, the internship program was on a much smaller scale, and I know Principal Jim Antonelli came to me and said, I want to have Wendy very much involved in developing and expanding the internship program, and you've done a fabulous job doing that. And can you tell us a little bit about the variety of internships, just a sampling of some of the places and some of the experiences students will have?
Sure. We have students in every kind of career that you can imagine. We have students that are in veterinary clinics. We have students that are working in engineering firms. We have students that are working with local community charitable organizations, Habitat for Humanity, the Lowell Humane Society. And so when they do a community service internship, they have to spend at least half of their time on site with that organization, and then the other half they can be out and working on a project that will support that organization. We also have students that are doing research projects, those students that have too many advanced placement courses to leave the building for an extended period of time, are doing research projects with a faculty advisor and someone outside of school on areas that they're very interested in. So it's pretty broad range.
And I know that we have a number of students who do internships on our own school system.
Yes.
I was at the Miller School prior to the April vacation and had a chance to talk with two female senior students who were working extremely well with about 4 or 5 first grade students.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a chance to stop and talk with them. They were just loving the work they were doing with students, and they both wanted to pursue careers in education. And I've talked with other students at the internship fair when the projects are culminated, and they are very interested in becoming teachers and administrators of the future, and it's great to see.
And I think it's wonderful too in that they can have an opportunity to test out a certain age group or a certain role in the educational system, and some of them come back after even just the internship and say, I enjoyed this, but I'm thinking this level would be better for me. And it's awfully nice to have an idea about that before they start college and decide where they're doing their rotations and that kind of thing.
It's a wonderful experience for students outside of those in the education internship to find out if something represents a passion to them as a career, a potential career. And because all of us at some point in time change direction in our careers, and I know I was not educated to be a teacher or a superintendent. I mean, I have an engineering undergraduate degree and an MBA, and just by some fortuitous measure happened to be involved with a great educator in the city of Lowell who saw some potential in me and helped develop my career. And so you never quite know where your passion and interests are going to take you in life. And tell me about some of the students in the past that you might be aware of who have had internships in companies and actually had job offers as a result of those internships.
We've had a number of students that go through, they do our job shadow program and get a connection to an internship. Then they do the internship and are offered summer work or part-time job during the school year. And then they end up actually working with that organization later. But I do remember one of our very first students had an internship with Red Hat, and they were so enthusiastic. I think 5 or 6 people from Red Hat came over for our exhibition, and they all wore their Red Hats, and they brought software for the student as a thank you for the work that he did. But he ended up going to college on the West Coast and worked remotely for them while he was in college, and was offered a position when he was done. So that was one experience I remember clearly because it was so exciting, and it was right when we first began. There are a number of other companies in the area that have been really pleased with our students in engineering and graphic design, website development, and have ended up offering the students work after the internship, at least in the summertime, if not beyond that.
There are a lot of fascinating projects. I know is the well, I tend to call it a fair, but the display of projects.
The exhibition.
Exhibition.
That's our formal word
Is
for
that
it.
open to the public in general?
It is, and it's at the end of May, right before graduation, and it's a required part of the experience. So the students are in the internship, but they have weekly papers that they write. They do a presentation at the end, and then they do the exhibition, which is sort of like a science fair. They all come and set up displays, and I know you've been there every year to see them. And we invite the community to come. Usually it's their site supervisors, school committee members, and their parents who are the ones that come. But we also obviously invite the students in the lower grades because we want them to get excited about what's available.
Yeah, particularly those that are in the sciences too. It's great to have some of our female students exposed to some of the internship projects, such that their interest in science, technology, engineering, mathematics may be a little bit enhanced.
Right.
And I've talked with Mr. Nathan, Nanda Nathan, he has approached me about setting up a STEM center, and we're looking for a location right now. We may possibly have one at the Blanchard School in the not too distant future. Some space available where some of our students can go and just experiment and work with electronics and a lot of engineering principles, robotics, etc. And so we want to keep that on the burner and keep interest. And I remember last year, I believe it was last year, one of the projects that some of the students had, two students had, was, I believe it was an artificial intelligence checkers game. And it was amazing how competitive it was, and I did not fare
Who
well.
won?
I did not fare well against it. But there were nursing projects, education projects. I remember Matt Warner made a beautiful surfboard. I was really impressed at the quality of it. We've seen canoes in the past that were made, tents, camping devices and gear that students developed through the internships, and it's just fascinating.
Yeah, I had a student who was interested in environmental science and going green, Amelia Mettler, and she did a green school. So she did research on how you would make a school green, and then she built a prototype of Westford Academy with the garden on the roof and the solar panels and all the things that you could do with our actual structure to make it a green school. And she had developed the interest in, through her AP biology class, and worked with her AP biology teacher as an advisor to do this research and do this project.
Now, what year would that have been?
2 years ago she graduated.
Do you have any contact with her? I'd be interested in speaking with her about how we could increasingly go green in our school system. In fact, the interest there is that was a question that was asked to the 3 candidates running for the 2 available seats on our school committee.
Oh, really?
Right now is what have you done to make the schools green, and what would you do to make them more green? So I'd be very much interested if you have any contact with her and speaking with her.
Okay, I'll reach out to her.
Because we're always looking for good ideas, and we don't have all of them, and that's why we sometimes look to the community, not only the parents but students, for some of our ideas. And so let's take a break for a minute from the internship program. Let me ask you a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Where your career has gone, where you started. Were you originally interested in becoming a counselor? So give us a little bit of background about who you are and where you've come from.
Well, I took a winding path, as most adults do, and I think that's how you end up in the best place, I think, is to try lots of things out. But I was one of those students that loved the guidance office when I was in high school. I was a peer counselor, and I was interested in helping other students then. But back then, you couldn't go right from college into being a counselor. You had to teach first and then decide, am I going to be administration, teaching, or counseling for my master's? And so I was an English major, and I was certified to teach high school English. I did my student teaching, but I just never felt the confidence that was really the right direction for me. But I went to a session with the Career Counseling Office when I was a senior in college to learn about next steps and figuring out the right direction. And I loved it. And afterward, I went to the director that was running the workshop, and I said, what job do you have? Because I want to teach, but I want to teach real life, hands-on, applicable kind of things. And so she explained that it was called College Student Personnel Administration, which is every office at the college outside of being a faculty member. And so I said, where are the best programs? And she told me the top 3 programs in the country, so I applied to them. That was about all the research I did. The internet didn't exist at the time, so.
Now, where did you go to college?
I went to Franklin and Marshall College for my undergraduate, which is right outside of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and it's a liberal arts college. And then I went to University of Maryland at College Park for my master's program in student personnel.
Wonderful.
And I had a wonderful experience, and I worked in residence life and student activities and leadership development, and in the end found that career development was my favorite spot. And so I I did have got my master's degree. I worked in residence life, and then had a couple of children. And when I went back to work, I worked in career development at Riviera College in Nashua, and I taught some graduate programs, courses there as well on career development. I worked at Middlesex Community College with a program for undecided students that had internships in community service. And so that was my career. But while I was at Riv teaching the graduate course in their school counseling program, I met Larry Guidetti, who told me that you didn't have to teach anymore. You could go into guidance counseling without it. So I decided to go back to school, and I got my certification, and that was a big career change. That was 14 years ago that I made the move from working at colleges to working at Westford Academy, and I've been there ever since.
Great. It's interesting you mentioned both Riviera and Middlesex, because I've been teaching at Riviera for about 35 years now, and Middlesex for, I believe it's about 15. Two of my absolute favorite colleges. Of course, Riviera now is a university, but both of them put a lot of emphasis on the well-being of students, which is very, very nice to see. And they spend a lot of time in contact with the instructors about how the students are doing, and it doesn't happen at every college and every university. Tell me a little bit about how guidance has changed. Years ago, when I was a student in high school in Chelmsford, it was pretty much passive in nature, and I know that's changed very much. And what does a quality guidance program look like?
It looks like my program. High school. We have an excellent guidance program. It's comprehensive, meaning that we look at the whole student and not just at one area. So we focus on programs that address their academic needs, their college and career readiness, as well as their social and emotional well-being. And so we work hard to provide a curriculum that we deliver in a variety of ways, small group, large group, through the parents, and one-on-one, that addresses all three of those areas. So it's important that it's developmentally appropriate, and it's also important that it covers the whole student. So I know that wasn't the way that things were when I was in high school. And I often tell my families I'm working with that my guidance counselor wrote down the names of 6 colleges on a white index card and said, I think these would be good for you. And I mailed a postcard to each of those to ask for information, and that was how I decided where I was going to college, was who wrote back and where did I get in. And now there's an information overload, and our job is more to, I feel like our job in all three of those areas is to teach them over those 4 years how to make good decisions, not to decide who they are, but to how to make a good decision no matter what you're looking at, career, what you're going to do in your personal life, what's the right next step, that kind of thing, and how to advocate for themselves. So how to see when they need something and teach them how to find out who can help them with that, and be able to ask them effectively. And I think if they have those 2 tools down pat, when they're done based on what we've been working on them with, they're going to be in good shape for the future.
That social component to education is extraordinarily important, and I hear from students who have great guidance counselors the importance of that guidance counselor in not only their education but their life. And the guidance staff can make a huge difference in the life of a child, not only short term in their high school career, but certainly longer term. Let's swing back. We have about 5 minutes left in the program. We'll swing back to the internship program for a moment. What are some of the real challenges in putting together almost 300 internships at Westford Academy?
I think one part that's challenging is site development, with trying to find high quality opportunities for that many students at a time. And so we're always looking for people from the community who might be involved in something that they think a student could really benefit from. And we do outreach with our parents, but we certainly would be happy to hear from people in the community that would be interested in learning more about being a site sponsor. So that's one challenge. I think another is that we work hard to continually improve this program and make sure that it's a high quality experience, both for the students and for the people that are hosting them. And so, you know, the communication is a challenge, and making sure that our students are well prepared and they know what to expect, and they know, you know, everything from dress code and phone communication to actually having skills that they would need in that particular position. So we do lots of work with them before they go out. I think the communication once they're gone is tough, you know, and a lot of our students love being at Westford Academy. They don't necessarily want to go. We're kind of pushing them out of the nest.
Well, yes.
And Natalie is a wonderful example. She loves Westford Academy. But you can see how excited she is about the experience she's having here. So I think once we get them to put their toe in the water, they have a great time. But that's one of the challenges, is to convince them to give it a try. It
is very difficult. I can remember my days back as a senior at Chelmsford High School, and we didn't want to leave. It was 4 years that were some of the best 4 years of our life, and I'm sure it's the same for students at Westford Academy. I hear that all the time from our students, that how much the school means to them. And it's always important for all of us to let them know how much they mean to us, not only as a school system, but to us as professionals in the field. And they help more than anything to inspire and motivate us, and to bigger and better and greater things all the time. And we have some of the best students in the entire country. Are there any particular types of sites that you would like to have more of? You know, you were talking to the community here a minute ago about always looking to develop additional job sites. Are there any types in particular that you would like to see increased in numbers, whether it be in terms of engineering, in terms of electronics, technology, medical field, etc.?
I do think we have challenges in finding healthcare settings for students, and I do understand that there are concerns with age requirements and safety, confidentiality, depending on the type of work that they're doing. But that does seem to be an area that we could use some additional sites, and certainly technology is another one. And students, they do have skills. You know, we have students that have taken AP Computer Science and data structures, and they're ready to get out there and start applying it, and I think they can make an impact. But it's often the challenge just to make those initial connections and help the companies understand who we're going to be bringing to them, and that they have some control over who they're going to be working with. So that site development is a challenge, because we all have caseloads of over 200 students that we take care of at the high school. So get out and make those connections is challenging.
Wendy, I want to thank you very much for all of the work that you've done for many years at Westford Academy. You are one of the people, among many certainly, who have enhanced the quality and reputation of our school system.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for all the work. In addition to your role as the grade 6 through 12 guidance director, all of the work that you've devoted, along with other co-workers, to the internship program. And once again, any parents who might have a potential job site, please contact Wendy at Westford Academy. And this is Bill Olsen, Superintendent of Schools. I want to thank you again for visiting us on Education Matters.